And our word for today on this Thursday of the third week of Advent, this Thursday, December the 19th, our word for today is heard, H-E-A-R-D, heard, our word for today. And here to talk about it, Andrew Reinhart. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Dave and Ron. How are you?
Doing great.
Terrific.
Happy Advent to you as we continue to make our way to the Christmas season.
Happy Advent. I love, this is when Advent feels Christmassy, right?
Yeah.
It gets to feel a little Christmassy here. Mm-hmm. And I'll talk about the antiphons later, but I get these words of the day, at the beginning of the week from either I make it up or Dave, and I saw herd this week, and I thought, are we reading about the herd of swine, during Advent?
Oh, yeah.
So in preparation this morning, I ate some pork rinds. But when I heard the first reflection, I realized, no, I got the wrong reading. This idea of hearing is so key to our faith. We're talking about hearing specifically language, right? Hearing language and voice. The voice, scientists have pondered this question. How come our closest biological relatives, the apes, can't speak, but birds can?
Oh, yeah, right.
Why? And one of the theories behind this is because birds can sing, right? And they think actually singing came before speaking.
Oh, wow.
Right, that in the development of the human capability, singing was actually prior. So speaking is derivative of singing. We think of it the other way, right? Mm-hmm. That speaking is primary and singing is secondary. But biologically, it may have actually been the opposite, right? That our ancient ancestors learned to sing before they learned to speak. And I'm thinking of the prayer of that the Lord heard today in the reading of Zechariah. So much of the prayer of the Old Testament is singing. People crying out to the Lord, singing to the Lord. The Psalms, these are songs that were sung wholeheartedly in praise, in supplication, and asking, and now singing for the coming of the Messiah, right? And we enter this last season of Advent, the season of the O antiphons, right, where the great hymn O Come, Emmanuel" is based on these texts. But in our Mass, we have them during the Gospel acclamations, or they're the propers, if you're singing the propers during the Mass. So in this season, we have this crying out for the Lord to come. O come, Emmanuel. O come, Root of Jesse, Star of David. Calling out on all of these titles of Jesus to come. And the thing about singing, I think, is that singing is like speech with the heart attached to it. When somebody's singing their heart out, there's something in us that's just drawn to that. Right? Think of somebody performing music and just pouring themselves out. Right? There's something that we can't help but be drawn into that. Well, I got news for you. We come from God. We're in His image and likeness. That means our being drawn to someone pouring their heart out in song. That means God's drawn to someone pouring their heart out in song.
Wow, that's good. Good connection.
So as we're looking to prepare for Christmas, I think it's worthy to ponder, how are we crying out to the Lord? Right? What are we asking for? Sometimes we might do a shallow reflection about, are you just asking for the next toy or the next thing or the Christmas presents, or maybe you're just crying out that your kids will behave at Christmas Mass or something like that. But are we really crying out for Jesus? Do we really want Jesus? Right? Because what Jesus is offering us is Himself. Right? He offers us Himself. But what He asks us back for is Himself. Right? He doesn't ask us for things. He doesn't ask us for, like a partial commitment. There's not a contract where there's sort of limits to what He'll take from us. Right? He offers us all of Himself, but what He asks for in return is all of ourselves. And that's the exchange this Christmas season, is God is giving it all. Body, blood, soul, divinity. The whole Christ, the whole of the divinity is in the person of Jesus Christ. So in that, then, He pours Himself out in the Eucharist. The Eucharist is also the whole Christ, body, blood, soul, and divinity. In the exchange is that He asks for the whole of us, all of us, body, soul, mind, and heart. And so that's the cry. It's the cry of the deeps of the Lord's heart meeting the cry of the depths of our heart. And I think that's what we're being invited to in this Advent season. So our word for the day is heard.
I love it. And this idea that God is drawn to someone whose heart is crying out to Him. you feel it when you're crying out to the Lord, right? A special presence of His when you're really coming before Him and crying out to Him. He almost becomes someone you can touch and feel as that occurs.
Amen. The Lord responds to the cry of the poor, and spiritually, we're all poor without Him.
He hears us. Are we listening to Him?
There you go. Love it.
Andrew, once again, terrific reflection. Have a blessed Christmas. We won't see you next week, obviously, but talk to you again in the new year.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you, Andrew.